Hi everybody, this is Brian Koo with another ROK video. Today we are touching tips. The enemy is on their side of the line, we're on our side, and we're about to see who is bigger. Who's got the bigger army, that is. It's Day 1, Night 1 of fighting in this Strife of the 8 KvK, and it is very chaotic right now. The enemy is launching rallies at us while we are launching rallies at them. Open field control is undetermined, and a lot of the fighting is taking place right at the flags that are being rallied. Some of these garrisons have AoE capabilities, and others do not. Our rally here is getting swarmed down immediately. And this is that chaotic flow that happens very early on in fighting when everyone is jacked up and excited. No one knows which side is stronger. Both sides are kind of trying to prove themselves to the other side, put their best foot forward, intimidate the opposition a little bit. And it's hectic. It's extremely hectic at this point. And a lot of times it's in these hectic moments that mistakes get made or shortcuts are engaged. And when we look back on these videos, there's a lot of things we can learn and a lot of tips we can put out there to help you do better in your future fighting, in the future teamwork that you engage in to make your kingdom and your alliance more effective in these high leverage spots where there's a lot of deads being taken. Hospitals are being filled up and emptied very quickly. And there's a real opportunity to outplay or be outplayed by your enemy. Because in these early stages of a war, when you're up against a tough enemy, which is what we're up against today, they're watching everything you do. They're watching how you execute and picking up on where your weaknesses are. So it's a feeling out process, while at the same time being the most intense and high damage fighting that may take place at any point in this roller coaster war. Here in Passaran, we're fighting a 1 versus 2, one camp versus 2, and the other enemy camp, Water Camp, is quickly flagging directly to our pass, hoping to cut off all of our territory as we're busy here on the front lines fighting into the bulk and the toughest part of the opposition. Here's the first enemy rally on my flag, my Jan Jadwiga flag. It was a quick rally, a feeling out type of rally, which brings me to Garrison tip number 1, which is be thick. Have a thick garrison in place that makes life more difficult for the enemy and bolsters the confidence of your own side, helping you defend. So there's rallies happening all over the place. We're taking out a Water Camp flag there that was trying to connect and set up a double rally on us. You know, one thing that 1682 did well was that they were a disciplined attacking unit. They would gather in a ball, they would set a time to attack, typically about 30 seconds before a rally hit, and they would all push together. And if they're able to clear us off the open field, or if they're able to simply scare off an enemy from even fighting them in the open field, then they have a genuine chance to burn a flag. So we had to put up a fight here. We had to engage them in this very large open field battle. I'm throwing my own marches right in there, letting them go down to 0 if need be. Which brings me to Garrison tip number 2, which is don't pull out. It's very easy in a hectic fight like this to accidentally target your Garrison captain and pull him out to fight with your open field marches. And that would have been an absolute disaster. And it would have turned what was a very good defense. We completely rejected that rally. We got a very good trade. It could have turned it into something much worse. Now we're looking at the infantry flag we're defending. Captain is the Garrison lead here with her Flavius Scipio. And that's tip number 3 for how to be a good Garrison captain, which is that you need to take ownership. Take ownership of the flag you're defending. Have a very solid garrison in there. Be ready to reinforce with your own troops if need be. And just, refresh your march when you need to, and make things easier on the people who are organizing all of the other things happening at this chaotic early stage of a war. Just be in charge of that garrison, let people count on you, and that just makes things easier and smoother for everyone. Our rallies are not going that great. The enemy rallies are also not going so great. At least our allies in 463 have dealt with this water camp threat that was inching towards our pass, threatening to cut us off at the shins. Things were going so well at the cavalry flag here that I think all of our open field just naturally focused on that flag. And when the enemy shifted to focus their attack on this infantry flag, we were not prepared. I'm showing up to this right here, and I'm seeing a juicy opportunity for us. I'm seeing a bunch of enemy marches swarming a flag very early on in a KvK, when we presumably should have plenty of reinforcements ready to fill this thing up. And we actually did have plenty of reinforcements here. People were ready for that part. What we were not ready to do was, number 1, deal with these swarmers by just attacking them. We didn't have the open field to do that. And number 2, we did not have a backup garrison, because the Flavius Scipio went down, as it tends to do against the swarm, but then there was no other garrison ready to be put in its place. And so that's tip number 4 for good garrison play, is be ready with a backup. Captain had her city right there, and she has Xeno YSS, so she could have handled this better by having that Xeno YSS ready to go, geared up, and able to be thrown in as soon as the initial garrison died. I don't blame her for not doing it. She's the king of the kingdom. She's dealing with a ton of stuff in these early hours after the fighting has started. And I said good job there because it looked to me like we had done a very good job of filling up a garrison against a swarm. I hadn't even noticed at that point that there was a Guan Scipio as captain for about half of that fight. And it's only when I look at this report now and see the bad trades or the losing trades. These trades are not horrible because it's the most active, dedicated fighters on 1682 who are swarming this flag and taking deads, whereas we have some mix of dedicated main accounts and farm accounts filling up the garrison. But this could have been so much better if we had that backup garrison in place. And, you know, it's not like I had a backup garrison ready either. What I could have done is I could have had Jan Nevsky as my primary garrison, and then I could have had Jadwiga YSS as a backup. Because you keep that Jadwiga YSS close by in case the enemy starts to swarm. Because Jan Nevsky is no good against the swarm. But Jad YSS is actually quite good. So the enemy is attacking this flag again. They came so close to burning it the last time that it's no surprise they would try again. My Jan Jadwiga garrison is still holding up very well, especially against the out-of-date Attila Nevsky. But they're attacking this flag again, and not having as good a time of it, because we do in fact have a nice open field presence at the flag. Which brings me to tip number 5 for good garrison play, which is bring friends with you. Have people in the open field defending your flag, because that is not only the first line of defense, but it is the best line of defense. We're going to transition now to the offensive and rally phase of this video. And right off the bat, I can give you rally tip number 1, which is to have open field control before you rally. I saw our Henry Nebu rally hitting their infantry flag. I saw we didn't really have any presence near it. And so here I am trying to force the issue, really, trying to create some sort of presence on their side of the map so that this rally has any chance of succeeding. Because if you can't bring reinforcements to a rally, then there's no way you're going to get a good trade against a flag that's surrounded by cities that can very quickly reinforce the flag. And so there's a lot of mistakes that we made offensively, not only in this video, but throughout this KvK. We're watching one more rally on my Jan Jadwiga flag. The J&J Garrison is a good one. It does well against archers, does well against cav. I think at this point in the meta, the Zeno Flavius Garrison is a little bit better, simply because Tariq rallies do trade pretty well with cavalry. But J&J is fine. It's the only problem is that it is susceptible to swarm, and so ideally you have that backup Jad YSS garrison nearby to swap to whenever there is a swarm. We've got the Gilga Henry rally on the Zeno garrison. We have a group swarm on the flag, and this is a nice opportunity for rally tip number 2, which is counter the garrison. This Gilga performs great against a Zeno garrison. And with where the meta is now, after the introduction of Sargon and Tariq, there is a real opportunity to see what's in the garrison and pick your rally march based on that. If the enemy is preparing for Tariq and throws a Monitori Artemisia in a garrison, all you have to do is rally with Nevsky, and you've put them in a very difficult spot. It's much easier for a rally to be launched, the correct troop type to be filled up, and reinforcements brought to the field, than it is for a garrison to scout the rally and then very, very quickly, in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes, empty the flag of the current troop type, put a new captain in, and put all new 2 million troops into that flag. That's a tough one. So here we are fighting And this is rally tip number 3, which is switch alliances if you're the rally leader. The Henry rally here is in the same alliance as almost all of the open field. And so in order to reinforce the rally and protect against swarm, all those people near me were taking AoE deads from the Scipio. And there were some issues here with reinforcing. The rally did not get canceled in time. And that rally is a morale blow for a side that was doing very well. We were starting to take control of the open field. We had good defenses. But things keep going. And here we are with another rally, a cavalry rally, on a Xeno flag. And the enemy looks wholly unprepared for this one. The flag is going down very fast. There are no reinforcements. And we have this flag surrounded. So while I praised the enemy's regimented, disciplined, timed attacks, there's also something to be said for our wild, disorganized, endlessly aggressive style. Because we just keep throwing pressure at you, we keep attacking, and it can put the enemy on the back foot, where they were so focused on defending one flag, they forgot all about the other one. And this war is really a clash of styles. I think that's what's most interesting about this, is that what 1682 plays like is a disciplined, controlled, balanced opponent. Whereas 770, we are like a wave. You ride the wave. We have so many strong players. We have a lot of whales. And we're, two alliances that speak different languages, have different cultures, and have different approaches to the game. So which of these styles wins out in the end? Is it the disciplined? Or is it the wild man? I'm going to show one more clip before finishing off this video. If you've enjoyed the video up to this point, then please throw a like on the video. That really helps me to get my work exposed to a wider audience. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And what we're seeing here is a good example of the flowing type of approach that we take and how it does sometimes work. This was not a timed push into enemy territory. This was just the inevitable consequence of us having a larger and stronger open field presence at this moment in time. And so we're able to surround this flag. We're able to position our open field marches behind the garrison, so we're not taking any AoE. And we're getting a relatively clean run at this infantry garrison. And, what I would do in these sort of pitched battles, when there isn't a lot of open field fighting happening, is I would simply cancel these rallies as soon as we're getting outnumbered by the reinforcements in the flag. The rally leader needs to keep scouting this flag. They need to be, either they or someone else on voice chat with them needs to be aware of how many troops are filling up these flags. And when you stop getting rains, when you dip under like 1.1 million or so, just cancel the rally. Cancel the rally, set it up again, do the exact same thing again. Because what we're looking at here, we're looking at some cities surrounding this flag. that has their king involved, but then these other 3 players around this flag, I honestly never really saw them later on in the KvK. So these are simply filler accounts that they're using early on in the KvK to fill this very important flag. And so wearing down these filler accounts is very useful. Like, yes, there's a nice objective in burning this flag. Yes, burning a flag is an objective. But wearing down the enemy and having good morale on your side, that's also an objective. That's a worthwhile objective to pursue. And in lieu of being able to burn down a flag, which when you have filler accounts endlessly reinforcing and keeping this flag topped up, you're not going to burn this flag easily. So focus on other objectives instead. Get a good trade, wear down their infantry reinforcements, and just do it over and over again. You know, this rally was canceled at 118k left. I'm fine with this trade. Like, I'm basically fine with this trade. And if it had been canceled a little bit sooner, the trade would have been even better. The trade would have been very close to neutral once you factor in all the deads and severely woundeds the enemy took from swarming the very tough to swarm Henry Nebu rally. So if it were up to me, if I were the one in control of the pace of play here, we would just launch that rally. We would cancel early. We would cancel at like 1.1 million troops left. And then we just launch it again. And we would keep wearing them down. And the moment we see a little bit of weakness, we would swarm the flag and ultimately get the burn. But hey, it's not up to me. I'm just here for the ride. And I will see you all on the flip side.